You think Jesus wanted to walk on water? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know that. He didn't know that. He didn't know he was gonna be like, you know what I mean? But it took that courage. He took that leap of faith of like saying, you know what? Like, my Father has me. It's good. Like, I'm a walk on water, and I'm gonna show him how it is. Because think about it, he was human too, right? Don't you think he didn't have any questions or thoughts in his head that essentially it all overweight, like his faith was stronger than his human capabilities?
So you think he dipped his toe in just to check to see if
No.
I mean, this is gonna work. You know,
I mean, look at the Book of Clarence. If anybody has watched that movie, you know what I mean? Like, it just shows you that even when you're sure, sometimes you're just not sure, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, are you gonna take the leap of faith?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to our platform. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option 4 Podcast. I am always joined by the second half of the show, GQ Nesto. How are you doing today?
What it do? I'm good.
It's a little warm in here right now.
A little warm, man.
You're adjusting to the weather.
It's a weird ass world, man. Yeah. Like, you know, just to kick off, man, we live in a world where right now, if you want to buy any Johnson & Johnson product, they gonna look at you funny. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I was
you're starting it off like that.
Off the back.
I'm just saying, I love that, you know, that baby shampoo. You know what I mean? That shit's cool. You know what I mean? You can't buy that shit no more.
Wow. You get your skin right.
Hell yeah.
For sure. And ladies and gentlemen, no stranger to our show. I mean, day one for me since kindergarten, first grade, right? But welcoming back in our presence to our show. DC, how you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. Option 1. Ready to do this. Hey, man, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Been a minute. So
what you been up to? Catch us up a little bit. What you been up to?
Hey, man, I'm trying to push this product out. You guys see the gear? God is real. Trying to push that. Coming spring 25.
Okay. What kind of we looking? Crew necks, t-shirts, accessories. What are we bringing to the table?
We're going hats, t-shirts. We going sweats, anything.
Okay.
Starting off with the crew necks, t-shirts, the hats.
Where do you get your design inspiration, or where do you come up with your concepts?
It's just, things I've had bottled up inside, trying to let it out. I feel like I'm an artist, so I've been holding that inside for years.
Or you feel like
I feel like I'm an artist. I'm in the LA art district, you know what I'm saying? So I got a lot to put out there, and I don't want to, go down without trying to, inspire the world and put out what I feel like is artistic in this world. You know what I'm saying? So
get that cheetah print. God is real.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Cheetah print. God is real.
Only you would rock the cheetah print.
Hey, they did say Nelly bringing apple bottoms back. You know what I'm saying? God is real bottoms.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, where you think all them Christian babies come from, though? All right, but nah. But nah, man. Speaking of that, speaking of God is real, that's like a goal, right? That's something that you set. So I would say last week I had a class, a work-related class, and they were talking about how to properly establish your goals, right? So before I get into what I would think that is, how do you establish goals? Is there a process that you do?
No,
do you just think, do you write them? What's your process?
I wouldn't say write them, but more on the lines of take notes of what approach you're gonna take. I think that's all it comes down to is the approach, right? So the process, I think is trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to learn, you're gonna have to fail, you're gonna have to adjust, things of that nature. That's my take.
Well, what's your process then?
I mean, it's first off brainstorming what you want to do as far as your goals, right? I think from there you have to write it down. If you don't have to write. If you don't write it down, it's not there visually. Sometimes I write it on a chalkboard and then I put ideas together and then do timelines to make sure you have things that are set in place as far as what time you want to get started. So I think if you never write it down, like it'll always just be a thought in your mind.
All right. So from what I understood from the class, right? So it's funny that you say write it down. So it's like if you're not writing it down, or the instructors was like if you're not writing it down, you're wasting your time, right?
Right.
And then she said your goal had to be so specific and so broken down in like subcategories that if I gave you my goal, you should be able to accomplish it by following the steps that I laid out, right? And then she said they have to be put a time to it, right? So whether not only how much you're going to dedicate like daily to accomplishing this goal, but like, hey, by June 2025, I need to have this done. So I've never done anything like that on my goals. So I was just like, dude, maybe that's maybe why I'm like not where I want to be yet in life. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, if that's what it necessarily takes to be successful, because that's how I came across. So I was a little combative about it because she was like, yo, almost like you're not going to be successful if you're not following these methods.
But do you really think that success, it's a one-fit-all playbook? Because think about it, like everybody has a different format or a different way of looking at success, right? So can you really say if you don't do this or you don't do that? I mean, you got a lot of motherfuckers that are like making a lot of money off of YouTube and they are retarded as hell. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, you gonna tell me they wrote that shit down? Like, it's questionable, because what is success at this point, right? You could either take the traditional way or you can be a sensation, one or the other. So is there really a way?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like, I think even the most craziest things are entertainers or people you see in the limelight. You see them, but I think it's a team behind them. So they do all the brainstorming, the thinking, and the writing it down, and then they just get whoever it is, the front man or front woman, to produce. Like, I don't like the whole, like, since we've been doing this, I think the whole going viral thing, like, it's just fake, bro. Like, it takes, I don't know, I want to say it's almost like winning a lottery to go viral, but most of the times they have machines behind what narrative they're trying to push.
That's called like 10 Google accounts. I mean, 10, 15 Google accounts, and fucking let them all say. That's what I was telling you earlier. Like, we have that ability. Like, you can create your whole, organized crime. You know what I mean? Like your AI people. You know what I mean? Those motherfuckers will do shit for you, answer shit for you, like believe in you. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just think we have to take into consideration these different. I would say there's different era that we live in. I don't think it's that simple. In paper, yes, it is, but there's a lot of X factors at this point.
But it's not about going viral all the time, right? When we talk about goals, we talked about option 4 in the podcast. It was a goal, and whether you go viral or not, it was something that you put in place and it actually happened, right? Sure. So, you could have 100,000 followers, a million followers, right? Or you could have 10. But you put that goal out there and you got the podcast cracking, you know what I'm saying? So that's your success. You can't judge people's success by, going viral. And I don't think that that's the time now, but
I didn't necessarily want to hit on like the viral thing, but it was like he was just saying like people were just mad successful on YouTube, like doing dumb things.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But I feel that doesn't happen by mistake. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's what I was trying
Hawk
to hit.
2? Are you serious?
But look how many people
that was definitely a mistake.
That was definitely a mistake.
That was calculated. Yeah. But it was a mistake that she became famous.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. She has a whole line.
Hey man, I guess right place, right time.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Speaking of that, like, so I listened to this Bishop on YouTube, Bishop Brunner. Shout out to you. game. Somebody, I think my mom or dad had put me up on game on him, but it was a message where he was talking about like money, right? But not necessarily. We all know we need it because it's a resource, right? We use it to, you know, take care of families, accomplish goals, right? But when you let it hinder you, right? So he gave this example of patience, right? And somebody, I guess, I forget the guy's name, but he was a 10% owner of Apple, right? And 10% at that time was $800. He didn't believe in it. So he pulled out his $800. I think that was in 1976, 1976 or 1986, one of the two, whatever. But if he hadn't pulled out his 10% stock option shares in that company, it would have been worth $340 billion today. So like, what do you guys do to exercise that patience? Because I lack patience. That is no secret. So how difficult, Dave, how difficult for you is it to like hold on to something or believe in something even when it doesn't look good at all? So how do you just relax and just let me see this unfold?
I think you have to be confident in where your mind is taking you as far as that goal. Like, so nobody can believe it, but everyone that starts off with a goal, the person that started Apple, right? The person that started, for you guys, for example, Option Forward, you gotta believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence, and nobody can make you do it. So I think that's where it's at. It's just making sure you're confident in yourself. So I kind of like, so it's funny that you brought up investing in Apple. My wife, true story, we had about $10,000, right? And we were like, we should invest in stocks. And this was right before the iPhone came out. So I'm like, iPhone's about to come out. Apple should be popping after that, right? Put the money in. I think it was, I forgot which account it was, like a financial investing group that it was. Put the money in, and then the next day we got scared and took it out. I think it was based on what her uncle had told her, like, don't put money into Apple. Wow. Pull $10K out, and that was right before the iPhone. So just imagine how much, I don't know the math on that. Yeah. But we pulled out, and so it's like,
you know, that confidence popping already,
man. You know what I'm saying?
It would have been everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta believe in yourself sometimes. Sometimes God gives you that thought, that little thing that's supposed to grow. You're supposed to put into it. So I mean, you gotta have that confidence, I say, in yourself.
What about you, Nesto?
Man, I'm built different. Like, I'm built different. I feel like I gotta get a flat no. Right? I gotta get a flat no, cause no, I feel like until something is obvious to me, I don't let that shit go. I have to figure it out. I have to see it through. I have to like hurt my feelings. Like, you gotta fucking go and you gotta take my heart apart and then fucking like pull it out. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's the way that you kind of learn. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because at the end of the day, you know, you come out crying, right? You come out like disappointed, but at the same time, it's what comes out of it, as far as like knowing that, okay, there's no shoulda, coulda, woulda. If there's one thing that I do not live off, is shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, even when it hurts me the most, I don't try to do that. Only because I feel like that's the worst interest you can pay, in my opinion. So
that's the worst feeling to me. Like, when you didn't try. Like, now that you're older, don't you wish you could have gone back to high school and said, I should have tried this, that, and the other. It's a number game. Like, I could have tried all the sports, did all this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta try it.
Yeah.
Never want to live with that. I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But then, like Shark Tank, how do you know when to pull the plug? Like, is it just plain foolishness? You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, it's not working, or you're not. Like, they're just being kind. They don't want to tell you no.
Well, I mean, think about it. We live in a world where foolishness is the thing. So you technically have to be foolish. You have to be foolish enough for people to actually have to think about it and then realize, wow, I get it. You know, if we really lived in a reasonable, calm environment where everything was just like, a process, then we would all be happy. But it takes courage. You think Jesus wanted to walk on water? Like, he didn't know that. He didn't know he was gonna be like, you know what I mean? But it took that courage. He took that leap of faith of like saying, you know what? Like, my father has me. It's good. Like, I'm a walk on water and I'm gonna show him how it is. Cause think about it, he was human too, right? Don't you think he didn't have any questions or thoughts in his head that essentially it all overweight, like his faith was stronger than his human capabilities?
So you think he dipped his toe in just to check to see if
No. I mean,
it's gonna work.
I mean, look at the Book of Clarence. If anybody has watched that movie, you know what I mean? Like, it just shows you that even when you're sure, sometimes you're just not sure, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, are you gonna take the leap of faith? That's what is really gonna come down to.
That's a funny example, because I mean, if you think about it, Jesus, he did have the confidence because he knew he had the power.
Right.
And that's how you gotta feel. That's how you gotta.
How long does it take?
But we not Jesus though.
No. But it's the concept of it. It's just how long does it take for an average person when you have a dream to take that leap of faith? It's very rare when somebody just goes and just YOLO, right? So I just think that's what it really comes down to is your faith going to be stronger, or is your reasoning gonna, bypass that, right?
How do y'all deal with, speaking of that though, like how do you guys deal with your unanswered prayers? Not saying that they won't be unanswered, you don't know what the future brings, right? You only can speak about the time that has already passed, right? And oftentimes, I don't know, I'm gonna just speak for myself specifically. I think that sometimes I consider my faith like a process, right? Show up to church, pay my tithes, do good to others, treat people how I want to be treated, pray, 4 times a day. And I try not to make it about me all the time. I pray for others more than I pray for myself. But lately, I've been on myself because 2024 has been kind of rough, bro. But I can't lie and sit here and say that I don't be like, yo, like, God, where you at? Like, I thought you was supposed to love me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you hate, and you're not supposed to compare, right? And that's wrong too. But I would be lying if I say I don't know of a specific person that I compare myself to, but I be like, I know there's a whole lot of people doing a lot worse, and they in a better situation than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And things appear, right? Because it's always that appearance. We don't know what's going on behind it, but things appear to be working out in he or her, whatever their favor. And right now, I was like, yo, God, like, you know what I'm saying? It's me. It's true. How do you guys deal with like the silence? I think that's a better way to put it. When you're whatever your traditions are, for all the viewers and listeners, whoever your higher power is, like, how do you deal with that silence when you don't feel like things are going your way?
I think the silence is part of the process, right? I think that if you ask for things and you immediately get it, it's kind of like you'll be spoiled at some point, right? And you won't get the true meaning of having faith and hoping that you'll receive those, right? The other side of it is that when you don't receive something that you pray for, I think that at the end of the day, it may have not been the time, or it just may have not have been God's real will. You know what I mean?
I mean, these bills got due dates.
They got due dates, but maybe you're supposed to struggle and build character and not having it at that moment. You know what I mean?
So,
there's been times where you've been broke, right? And you came out of it and you was like, dang, God was good on that one. Because I didn't know where that money was coming from. I didn't know I was going to get that promotion.
But why it always feel like the last minute? Like, there you go. Like, right where you put ready to pull the plug. Here comes Jesus on the chair. And it's cool. It's cool, right? You know what I'm saying? He show up. I'm not, but it's like, yo, like, can we stop? Like, all the reels going around about the strong soldier. he gives all the toughest battles to his strongest soldier, and the soldier himself is looking up to the heavens like, yo, gee, like, give me a break. Like, you're breaking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't handle no more. But how do you deal with it, though, the silence?
I think this is what it comes down to in my brain. You have to compress whatever objective you're trying to ask for. Because if it really comes down to, like, I think this is the hard part of me understanding every religion, traditional religion in itself, because once again, I don't think there's one plan fits all, right? So I feel that if I was to narrow down my wishes, like, you know, we would be stuck asking. I would have to pray every freaking day, because you know what I mean, there's so many shit that I want, right? But then you come down to is cutting down of what would make you happy, right? So if you have to narrow down what you stand for, right, and ask for that, I think it changes everything. Because at the end of the day, like, man, I feel that, in my opinion, God has, like, brutally, like, punished me emotionally, right? And what can I really ask for, right, at this point? Like, you already beat the shit out of me. Like, do you really think I want to do anything extra? Do you really think I want to, like, want more? At the end of the day, at this point, is tell me what I really guide me through where I'm supposed to be at. I'm gonna do my best, and then we'll take it from there. You know what I mean? Because what are we really here in this world for? The benefit of this world, or are we here in this world to basically prepare ourselves for the afterlife, prepare ourselves to be somewhere where we're worthy of being in a sin-free environment, right? So I think, you know, it's almost pointless to take an L. I mean, shit, like, I think as much as sometimes it's kind of one of those things where, like, you know, people say, like, oh, it's gonna get better and all that shit, right? There's certain people that are gonna, you know, carry their cross with pride and joy, and then there's gonna be some people that are just gonna fucking jump off the bridge. And then is there a really right or wrong answer? No. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, some will make it, some will not, and that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
And we don't promote jumping off the bridge.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
but no, I mean, you're right. Like, you know, some people deal with things. That's just the way, you know, I deal with stress different than you deal with stress, right? But like lately, you know what I'm saying, it's just been a lot of emphasis on faith, right? Whether you got a little or whether you got a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting your faith to test. And faith isn't always religious based. You know what I'm saying? It's believing in the unseen without, you know what I'm saying? No, you know what you expect to happen, but you don't know if it's actually going to come through. So I mean, I mean, my prayer is just like, yo, God, what I do have, you know what I'm saying? Like help me out. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's like that. It's like what that pastor said, right? He says something along the lines of, "Okay, there's the fake it till you make it. You gotta face it till you make it. Now, face it part, like that shit. You know what I mean? Like
you honestly don't have a choice but to face it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
People be like, yo, I'm just taking it one day at a time. Or what other choice do you have? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever situation you in, I mean, you can hide, you can run from it, but it's not going to change your current situation.
Well, it's like until you face your fucking demons and you face them and you turn back on them and like approach them, you're always going to be running about something, right? So
I think that you gotta, through those times, be stronger than ever. When you bow down to that feeling of like defeat, right? You're going through that storm, or in prayers you don't feel are answered, is when you gotta be your strongest, right? And that's why I say it's building character, because at the end of the day, it was a time in your life where you needed to go through that to build that character. You know what I mean? Pressure builds diamonds, right? You gotta come out shinier on the other side.
But who do Who do you go to? Like, who's your support system though? Like when you have those frustrating moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo, I tried this, it's not working out. You have someone that you lean upon or depend upon or come through with that little inspiration, that little nugget.
Well, I mean, besides believing in Jesus Christ,
yeah.
Besides that, I mean, you got family members, my parents, my wife, just believing in my self, right? But at the end of the day, I think just having that background in faith is where I go to, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like if you're alone, if you're in solitary confinement, right? Who do you go to besides your thoughts and your relationship that you have with God, right? So I think that's what it's supposed to make you go to. When you go through those struggles, you're supposed to go to Him, right? And so I think that is kind of like, when you talked about like the purpose of us, it's to understand that it's bigger than us. At the end of the day, everything you went through and everything that you thought was gonna make you happy, and you realize at the end of the day that can get taken away from you. Will you still be happy? Do you still have that joy?
Yeah.
You gotta find it.
So now, with that being said, right? There's a big aspect that I hate to say this, but it matters. But it matters, right? And most of that sermon that you sent me, it was all about it. Is money gonna be your master, or are you gonna be able to? What was the other part where you said like it's either you're gonna be the master of it or you're gonna be
a steward
of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So please, I want to know your take on that.
Well, no, I mean, I think a lot of times, in my experience, it's always, Jesus didn't have much, so we as those who believe in that, prescribe to that belief, we should be okay with not having much. You know what I'm saying? And there's nowhere in the Bible that teaches that we should be poor. You know what I'm saying? And if everything in creation belongs to Him, comes from Him, and He is my Father, then it's all mine anyway, right? I think what He said, the example He gave is when your pursuit of money or financial freedom or whatever it is, when you start to when your family suffers, when your career suffers, when everything suffers in order for you to achieve that, whatever you prescribe as success, then that's when it becomes your master. But there's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong. I don't think God has anything against that. Saying is what you do with the resources that you have, especially if you're using it to create a better community, create opportunities for others. I don't know.
I think that so being rich or wealthy, right? Success is fruits of your faithfulness, right? I think a lot of times when you are good at your craft and you follow what God's will is and you're a good person, that's the fruits that you bear, right? Being rich, wealthy, success. And you said, are you a steward with your money? Will you invest it, right? What would you do with that power? We're watching this live right now, 2024.
Right.
We're seeing billionaires, even last year we saw billionaires go down because of things they said. We're seeing billionaires now that because of what they did with the power of having that money and what they felt that they could do with it, go down. And what's in the dark comes to light, right? So there's a lot of things that, people that are wealthy, and it's kind of like you like, well, do I even want to get that rich? You know how you always be like, I want to be a quadruple millionaire, like billionaire, da 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 da. Like, what happens when you get that power? What you gonna do with it? Can you handle it? Will you be the steward?
Can I try first?
Can we do a trial? You might go too far once you get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, in that, I don't know. I feel some type of way about who you're talking about right now. Like, I think no one is like faultless. No one is like sinless and totally out of bounds. Don't agree with any of his actions and stuff like that. But when you do atone, what's funny is because I was talking about this, like, even though like you ask for forgiveness, you can go to the person that you offended and like make peace with that. There's still consequences, whether it was like done 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. There's still consequences, and it's just, I don't know this person specifically, but like if he is, you know what I'm saying, if he did try to, make peace, and like it just, I mean, it does suck in my opinion to see this happen to another influential person.
But think about this, right? We all have a purpose, right? Can we all agree on that, right? One single purpose, right? Just one little thing, right? So I think about this as in the aspect of power, money, and all that, right? Regardless whether you have, 300 billion or trillion or whatever, or you have $1, it doesn't change the fact of what your purpose was, right? So now, if let's just say you have that power, right? But whatever your purpose was, right, you did it to some capacity, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be acknowledged or it has to be like, oh shit, he did it, right? But if you knew you did something, and then the rest of it, obviously kind of sucked, or how you, did what you did, does it really matter? Because if you had $1, right, and you spent that last dollar on whatever, and you fed your purpose, right, but you still are not perfect, what difference does it really make?
So are you saying that Diddy served his purpose, so now he gotta go?
I mean, at the end of the day, here we are. We have God knows how many African American billionaires. Here we are. We have this amazing music that we were like inspired through our rough day. Somehow, someday, listening to one of his artists, got you through the day. Here we are, like having more African Americans involved in things that it's traditionally white. So, can you really say that his freak offs outdid everything he did?
I mean, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Who are we to judge, right? And then that's the thing. Like we live in a world that everything has to go according to your perspective. But at the end of the day, this is the Lord's house. This is the Lord's world. You know what I mean? Essentially, you're gonna have to, pay your dues with the man upstairs. And I just think that it's easy to point somebody out, whether he has $1 million or he has $1 or whatever it is. It's easy to judge somebody's actions. But at the end of the day, are you serving your purpose?
You chime in on that, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, so serving your purpose and falling from where you were at once you got to like the peak of that is one thing. I believe that just because you served your purpose doesn't like negate the fact that you did these things, right? So you still have, like you said, everybody has that judgment day. You can't walk away from the things you did in your past sometimes, and like I said, I can kind of judge because some things sound like way out. There may be some lies part of that, but at the end of the day, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So hopefully a lot of those things didn't happen. If it's judgment day, it is what it is. Like I said, everybody comes down to it, but living in your purpose, I think it's a great thing for anybody to be able to find their purpose and be able to live in it. And I think that's the ultimate goal in life, is to find it. Like I said, if you're doing something you love, it's never a job, right? So I think finding your purpose is our main goal, and the struggle getting there just comes with the territory.
Can he come back?
No, but look at, I want to tally on what he was saying. Like, okay, let's think about the big picture, right? He's got like 200 or I don't know how many losses going on, right? Those people, regardless whether they're being truthful or not, right? They're receiving, let's just say the ones that are successful and they do get awarded something, right? They're gonna have the ability. Do you really think that whatever money is given, do you think that's gonna change, like that is gonna help them? No, it's not. We all know that, right? Because whatever damage was done is already done, right? But now, here you are, now they have a tool, they have money. They can do something to serve their purpose, right? So no matter how we spin it, there's always a silver lining, regardless whether he's a monster or not, regardless whether that person had to go through whatever they had to go through. It's just a matter of of going through your individual path and then making the best out of it. And I think that that's where a lot of people forget about that, because I'm pretty sure that if someone went through whatever they went through, and next thing you know, they're gonna be able to create a difference for somebody to not be so enticed to getting into the entertainment industry, which everybody knows how it is. It's not like whatever is being put out to light, it wasn't something new. You know what I mean? You had to open them butt cheeks. You know what I mean? Like, so like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, but there's a silver lining. There is a silver lining. If we really want to ask ourselves, are we out here for the Lord's, plan? It's not pretty. Nobody said, he never said anything about like you're gonna like fast track it and everything's gonna be amazing. You got to build character. and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are building character.
Wow.
So what I don't want to say is all right, like it's cool to get abused, long as you get a payoff, and then when you get that payoff, you do something good.
I wouldn't want to put it in those.
Well, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure.
No. That's not what I'm saying, bro. Like, if that's what I'm saying, that would make me, who the hell am I? Like, that sounds heartless. But in reality, isn't it the way that it's gonna go? Whether we see it or it's behind closed doors.
I mean, everybody has their path, so you're right. Everybody has their individual journey.
So what difference does it make from a pastor that you sent me that made an amazing speech and he's pushing a Maserati and he's putting like basically pushing false hope, right? Everybody, regardless of whether you're the pastor or whether you're the worst criminal on earth, we all have something. Right? We all have some sort of mistake. And regardless of how your approach is, whether your approach is good or your approach is bad, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like, that pastor, is going to go and say, the Lord's going to save you. But the reality is that you don't know, like, the Lord, doesn't control the inflation. The Lord doesn't, necessarily control what you're gonna deal with. At the end of the day, everything that you're already going through was already predestined. It was already written. God already knows what you're gonna go through before you even actually, before anything. You know what I mean? So I just think that, like, nah, man, like there's always some sort of wrong. But are we gonna focus on that because that person only speaks sermon and the other dude gives you record deals? What difference does it make?
Well, I don't think it's not putting one man against another. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all, like you said, we all make mistakes. Like, wrong is wrong, sin is sin. There's no like one big sin. So I'm gonna sweep this one under the rug. Like, yo, it's all the same. I just, it's like, bro, it's just super sad, bro. It's sad to see this happen again. It's almost like to say, like Dave, like you start to question, like, dang, do I want fame? Do I want money? Like, I'm cool where I'm at. If this is what comes with it,
And Kendrick was like, only you like being famous. Everybody wants to, they want to get their art out. They want to be successful. And sometimes the fame that comes with it isn't what everybody wants. Some people do it just for the fame. And, it's a lot that comes with that. Right, so you saw how Michael Jackson lived. He couldn't come out of his house super famous, right? How do you want to live? Like, is that how you want to live? The fame is different. It's not for everybody. Like I said, like what you do with that power, everything. Because you could be a billionaire and lose it in a minute, thinking you own the world. You can move it the way you want it to, and you got to answer to somebody. So it's a lot of answering happening right now, right?
Yeah, man. In my opinion, this whole year has been nothing but like self-reflection on like what really matters.
Well, he said you can't serve money and you can't serve your faith, right? What did he say? Right? He said
that's not what he said. I get what you're saying, but like,
you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but that's the thing. Like, I think that's what it really comes down to is the greater good, right? The greater good of if whatever you can describe what you stand for, right? If you get to that objective, how you get to it doesn't necessarily matter at this point, because regardless, you're still going to be guilty. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of how you bounce back from that guilt. How are you serving your purpose? How are you serving this earth? How are you doing the greater good? Because it's all what it all comes down to, the greater good.
So are you saying you're going to get to the bag however you're going to get to the bag?
I'm not saying I'm going to go to a Diddy party, but I'm just saying like you know what I mean? Like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't, that wouldn't be my choice, right? But if there's other options that didn't involve my butt cheeks, like, you know, I'm going to get where I'm going to get. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I know that there's going to be lives that I'm going to save. There's going to be lives that I'm going to inspire. You know, because at the end of the day, I know exactly what I came to this world, and as much as sometimes I don't want to believe it, but like, I just have to own up to it. You have to be ludicrous. You have to be bold. You have to be able to stand and just say, this is what I believe, and this is what I'm gonna stand for. And I'm not gonna stand for anything that's put into my brain or brainwashed in any capacity.
What do you feel about that, Dave? Does it matter how you acquire? Like, it's almost that's what I'm getting. I mean, if I'm wrong, like, it doesn't matter how you acquire or achieve your success as long as the end result is you're doing good.
Absolutely not. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants success. How you're willing to get there is everything. Like, it matters. Like, there's a billion ways I can make money, right? But how I do it and how I feel my morality is and the way I want to move in this earth and how I'm gonna have my legacy, you know what I mean? Everything matters to me. So how you get there definitely does. I mean, I know that you guys feel that way too. So you guys aren't in jail, right? like you're not doing no curb serving. So like, there's some things that you value in life and how you get there. So I think that, you know, being willing to sell your soul, and they say that it's like a conspiracy theorist selling your soul in the industry and how you get there is definitely happening out there. I think that
you think that's
bullshit, bro.
Watch. It's deeper than thinking that it's just like some signs going on and you're part of this cult. Like, once you decide to send a message out there that's maybe against what you believed in, you sold your soul. It's like, so take that into context. Selling your soul ain't just like some ritual that's happening out there. It's going against what you believe in. I'm willing, like you said, I'm willing to get there any kind of way. Like, once you do that, you've sold your soul. Like, you gotta think of what selling your soul means is like, I'm actually not really caring where my soul goes. Once I do this thing to get where I want to be, that's selling your soul.
But what if it's a greater good?
What is a greater good? Just being famous and having money?
No. Because okay, if we're talking spiritually, right? Why do you think Jesus Christ carried that cross, right? Was it just for the fuck of it? Like, let me just make this a dramatic event, or let me just let you know that even though I had no beef with your sins, I'm willing to die for your sins.
That's perfect, right? That you said that. He did that to save your soul.
Right. So okay. So let's just say, right? Let's just say you have to. They say do what Jesus would do, right? So let's just say you selling your soul, you doing what you have to do to get to the greater good for other people to.
I don't agree with that.
So then is Jesus Christ crazy for doing that?
That has nothing to do with
because
that. Because
you're sacrificing yourself.
We're not the savior of this world or humanity, bro.
Why can't we be the?
This ain't even a biblical episode, but like the relationship between God and man have been severed, right? So his whole point of being the sacrificial lamb was to reestablish that connection.
So you said we can't be like him?
No, we can't, bro. It's not even like our goal is to strive to be, but you're a fool if you think you can be anything remotely close to what he was, because he was born in the sinful world, but he was not of sin. He had no sin nature. We're sinners, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So why are we judging each other then?
I'm not judging. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't stand for what dude is going through right now.
You're gonna we're all gonna die, right? We're all gonna die at some point, right? And there is nobody in this room that's gonna die sinless. We know that, right?
Right.
Okay, so what difference does it make? That's what I'm saying. What difference does it make? Something big or something small? A sin is a sin. A win is a win.
But
right?
You're not.
If it's for the greater good,
maybe your understanding is different from my understanding, right? So it's not saying that I'm not going to sin for the remainder of my life, but because I have an established relationship with Jesus Christ as my Lord and personal Savior, I can go to him and I can repent of my sin, right? I still have to pay the consequences, but I can repent. So if I die today and I have repented, I will spend eternity with him. He's not going to hold that over my head, my mistakes. Now, if I sold my soul, how do you come back from that? Because you're not even talking about coming back from that. You're saying, I sold my soul, what's done is done, but I'm going to do good. So it's almost like you're condemning yourself to damnation. Like, all right, whatever. But no, that's not.
I mean, the way you make it sounds very dark.
Dude,
but
it's pretty simple, man. But Dave, you were going to say something. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
So he said Jesus Christ sacrificed his body, right? He sacrificed his life. And can we be like him, right? So the way that we're supposed to be like him, as far as in comparison to him sacrificing his life, is us sacrificing the way we like. So as a man or woman, however you feel, like your body naturally tells you to do certain things. We're born sinners, like J. Cole said, right?
Right.
Your natural body wants you to do all kind of things, right? How you sacrifice yourself to making sure that you don't go a certain way is how you're in comparison sacrificing your body for the good, like you said, the good. What do you say?
The greater good.
The greater good, right? So at the end of the day, we're sacrificing what our actual body wants to do. Like, I want to go crazy and do this, but I don't. So I'm sacrificing how I really feel mentally sometimes, and I'm not doing that certain thing. I want to be $1 million, and I want $1 million, and I want all these things, and I could go do this, but I'm sacrificing how I mentally feel to make sure I do the greater good. You're sacrificing how your man or woman mindset will feel naturally to do, just like Jesus Christ sacrificed his body, and that was like the ultimate sacrifice. We cannot be that sacrifice, but every day you're sacrificing something to do the greater good, like you said. That's the only thing I can think of as far as like our comparison to being like Jesus Christ.
Well, like I think that okay, we have some norms, right? We have some norms that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense in the sense of like we all know that you have to fail in order to succeed, right? But then when you fail, like you are 100% gonna be highlighted and you're gonna be walking with the tail between your freaking, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna be very judge or whatever, right? So if we're really talking about godly, if we're really talking about that, like why are these norms I understand their standards and there's certain things that you want to live by, but these norms, don't you think sometimes that's something that prevents you from uncovering the onion to something bigger, something better, something like more effective? Because one plan doesn't fit all. Once again, as much as we want to think it is, does it really? Well, that's the reason why we live. Like, okay, big example, right? A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about America, right? America's this, we're idiots, we're dumb, blah blah blah, right? Like, there's all there's this stigma, right? 4th of July comes. You're not forced to have a good time on 4th of July, but somehow you're turned up, right? You're having a great time and all that, right? Now, let's take that to, once again, the norm, cultural norms, right? You go to another country, right? If you don't, abide by certain rules, then you're out of pocket, right? So here, America is an opportunity to be free in order to, not just the economical part, but just the fact of being yourself, being able to create something that you decide to create, right? So do you see how everything is so like it's a hypocritical situation, you know what I mean? Like yet we have all these opportunities, we have all these utensils, we have all this, but it's always on these norms that if you don't abide by this, or if I think that your situation is crazy, like somehow the whole world is gonna think that it's crazy, when in reality it's like it's a process, it's a loading situation. It's not even something that it's already like cooked up, you know what I mean?
You kind of like believe in like to each his own. Yeah. However you get there is however you get there, and I shouldn't judge you.
But shouldn't we all? Isn't that the right way to do it?
I mean, what is the?
How can you control anybody?
What is the greatest commandment? You know what I'm saying? Love thy neighbor as I have loved you. You know what I'm saying? So
do we really practice that?
I mean, I can't say we're consistent with it, but that should be your goal. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, it's not. I don't know how many times you got to wake up in the morning to say, you know what, I'm going to be cool with my neighbor, right? And your neighbor doesn't necessarily mean the person who living to your left or your right. You know what I'm saying? Your neighbor could be your family member. Or
you don't think that's your perception, though?
I mean, my perception about what?
Like, if your neighbor, regardless of how your neighbor acts, whether it's good or not?
You just treat people how you want to be treated, bro. Like, you don't respond to evil with evil, even though we typically do. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you heated, I'm gonna get heated. You know what I'm saying? That's why people fight. You know what I'm saying? But that's
if you're saying that if your neighbor, you say hi to your neighbor, brushes you off.
Bro,
you're never. No. I'm just saying. Huh?
Hi. That's not okay. But go ahead.
No. I'm just saying. After that, you're gonna shut down, right?
Why? I would continue to be nice.
All right. No,
I would continue.
All right.
The whole point is not about. It's not about how. How can I put this? It's about my actions, not your actions. So as long as I'm conducting myself properly, your reaction to me or the outcome that you may have or be experiencing, that's not on me. But I know as long as I do the right thing, then I'm on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different, right? So look, speaking of this, because we got to close this up, right? He also gave the analogy. I'm going to tell Dave this story, right? So it was a story of a farmer, right? Poverty stricken. The person he worked for one day said, hey, meet me at the house 8 o'clock in the morning. All right. Farmer shows up. He says, turn around. Look at these fields. He said, however far you walk and you return before the sun comes back, wherever ground you touch, all that land is yours, but you gotta be back before the sun comes down, right? So the man goes out, walking, enjoying the scenery, looking at God's creation. He notices the sun is starting to come down, right? So he turns around, he starts booking it. Man, I gotta make it. Oh, but the deal is whatever land he saw, he claimed he was gonna give it to him for $11. Right? Son started $11. Dude started booking it. Made it back. Right? But he was so out of breath when he made it back that he died from a heart attack. So the story is how much land does a man really need? Servants came out, they digged a 6-foot grave, 3 foot wide, put him in the ground, and buried him, right? So the moral of the story was, be careful we put our energy into certain things so much to where we forget about everything else. Because in the end, 6 feet, 3 feet wide. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and what he's saying, we're talking about like selling souls or doing however you achieve it. No, I'm just saying, we're talking about it.
I didn't say selling souls.
That's what we're talking about.
You did. I did not bring that up.
But no, but the importance is like, dude, like you said, like the path you take to reach whatever you define as success does matter. Regardless of what you do with it, when you arrive, it matters. Your path there. So I've always thought about that when it came to like drug dealers and stuff like that. And even if they like bought the hood or whatever and made, apartments and playgrounds and stuff like that, look at the destruction. So how do we balance that out? And is it okay? Is it acceptable? I've always been kind of torn when it comes to that though, but the journey does matter.
So the journey matters, right? And I think that, so once you receive the success, right? And say you did that for 20 years. You did whatever you needed to do to make the money. Killed, steal, and destroyed, right? You got out of that and you stopped doing it. And now you're giving back to the community and everything, right? Trying to kind of like make the balance, right? I think at the end of the day, if you stop doing that, you're good. I think that morally, I think morally at that point you've stopped and you're not doing what you were in the past, and now you're kind of like changing your life to do good, right? We have to say you're good. That's how we've learned that Jesus feels, that you everything you've done in the past, I'm gonna look at it anymore, right? So yeah, you could have now. If you did that 20 years and something happened, you got shot, you got robbed, something happened to your family, like those were the things that were coming about from your actions, right? And so you can't be mad at that either. But if you made it through unhinged, like, good for you. And then if you change your ways, and I respect it. But
that's the part you left out though.
No. That's
you didn't say nothing about changing your ways.
No.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that. You didn't say
you guys are putting technicalities, but no, that is exactly my point. That is everything that you just said. I said it in a brutal way where it didn't sound it had a silver lining. But it makes sense now.
We got there, but like. Nah. Hey, how you get there matters, right? Yeah. So we got to that answer. Right. Words matter. That's
what's up. But no, hey, Dave, put us back on game. Gear is gonna come out when? When are we looking at?
Looking at spring 2025, and like, so someone said that sometimes you shouldn't put out all your dreams and aspirations, because if it does. So, but I'm putting it out there, 2025 spring, motivated to get it out, more products like this. Just trying to push a message, and then at the end of the day, remember back in the day, we used to say, oh, he got good gear.
Right.
Dope gear.
Yeah.
And it became drip, this, that, and the other, but right. Gear always stuck with me. Like, yeah. I'm like, man,
geared up.
I'm geared up.
Yeah.
I got gear. Be sports gear, be golf gear, be casual gear. Gear. God is real.
For sure.
Sounds dope, right? But yeah, that's what I want to do.
You and your brother, right?
Definitely, yeah. My brother. How did I leave that out? Really inspiring as far as like the artistic side of it and the ideas and kind of keeping me motivated, and I push ideas to him. Like, so we're doing it together. At the end of the day, it's us. So I want to make sure that's clear too.
So Mike, you gotta come up here, man.
Yeah, definitely. I hit him, but he was busy. So
for sure. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, at the end of every episode, you know what I'm saying, it's our tradition, you know what I'm saying, to, you know what I'm saying, pretty much open up the microphone, the table, to leave any parting words with the listeners and the viewers out there. And we're going to start with GQ Nesto today. Anything you would like to share?
I just want to say thank you for all our listeners, and, you know, serve your purpose, you know, whatever it is, you know, whether people find it that it's crazy or not, like, you know, just do you, boo-boo, you know.
DC, anything you would like to share?
I would just say that as we're seeing a lot of people come to Judgment Day, just watch the way you move and watch how you get the things we were talking about on this episode, how you get there and how you get your success. It all matters. So be able to live with that consequence on how you get to your success. And I would say one thing to take away from this episode is, like Absol said, you gotta do better.
That's a great way of putting it. Drop Absol up in here. All right, that's one of my favorite songs. But nah, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I would just say this, like, you know, pretty much hitting on what everybody just said. Like, the journey, your path, it matters, right? Not only to you, but somebody watching you. You know what I'm saying? You are an example to some young man, young woman, man, or whatever it is. Just always be mindful. Do your best. Always stay positive. And we see you guys next time. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option 4 Podcast. Peace.